Can anybody hear me? Is anybody here? Probably nobody here. I actually did the right thing and gave a heads up for the first time in a long time. And hardly anybody noticed. I think I'm shadow banned. I don't even think people get notifications. It might not even be a real thing unless you're part of the club. Oh, sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I just had, I don't know, I hadn't been on in a while. I've sort of been following what's going on in the world, and it's obviously insane. But I had to take on a lot of it. And there's something I was thinking about doing for videos because I can't think of video topics because I don't know. I started this channel like a long time ago and I've done it all those like topics. So I was thinking about doing more music related stuff. Like I don't like channels where they say, so-and-so's top 10 best songs because that's all subjective and it's ridiculous to think that one person's going to tell you the 10 best songs from some artist. But I was going to do topics like vastly overrated bands, like ones that completely suck, but they're super popular for no reason because they're awful. Or kind of like deep cuts, like bands most people have heard of. In a lot of cases, everybody's heard of, but they know like, let's just say AC/DC, like, oh yeah, Back in Black. Showing a few songs that maybe the casual listener has never heard of, that are better than the songs that you do know. And also like the best bands that I listen to that most people haven't heard of. And, not being obnoxious. There's a lot of bands I haven't heard of that are probably awesome and I'd love to hear about them. But there's some bands that are really, really good. Some of them, like, I think one of them or two of them that I can think of off the top of my head started like in 1972. Like these aren't like new bands you haven't heard of. I don't listen to new bands. They're horrible. But like there's bands from the 70s that were better than, I don't know, 95% of everything out there. I mean, talking like all time. And nobody's heard of them. I'm not going to try and be pretentious and say nobody's heard of them, but I guarantee I could name 2 or 3 bands that the vast majority of people that watch the video have no idea ever existed, but they're amazing. And the good thing is, since a lot of them, like I said, some of these bands are from like the early 70s, they have a huge catalog. So if you enjoy their music, you have a lot of new music to deep dive into. But I don't know. I was going to see what people thought about me making like videos about popular artists and groups that are horrible and bands that are fantastic that never got the recognition, as well as some deep cuts, those kind of videos. And I don't know what YouTube will let me get away with as far as, playing clips from these bands and stuff, but whatever. I don't care anymore. Rumble seems to let me get by with anything I want. So if YouTube goes belly up, every video I make on here automatically gets uploaded to Rumble, which I prefer. And this is weird. So my one big complaint with Rumble is the ads. Like it starts off, if you start a Rumble video, I think like their format is like you get 2 ads to start the show off. And after like 5 seconds, you can cancel out of the ads. So that's semi-annoying. But then they started adding random ads throughout the videos. And that's like kind of where I go, this is not cool. But this is weird because I usually watch Rumble like on a Fire Stick or a laptop or something like that. I have an Xbox that I play like Rumble, YouTube, Amazon Prime, and that kind of stuff through my Xbox. The version of Rumble on Xbox, and don't tell them this because I don't want it to get ruined. 0 ads, none. Like not there's not one at the beginning, none. There's no ads on the Xbox version of Rumble, but don't tell anybody because I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. But hi, Seamus. And so there's that. And like I said, I now that I have this mystical ad-free version of Rumble, it's like fantastic. If they would do away with their ads altogether, or even make it if you pay $5 a month, you don't see any ads. I don't know. I'm sure they have a pay thing where you don't see ads, but I'm sure it's also probably ridiculously expensive. I think I finally got YouTube. They wore me down. The ads got so insane. I now pay like the $10 a month on YouTube for ad free. They have 2 tiers, of course, because they want to milk you for everything. I think I pay $10.99 a month, and it's like 95% ad free. There's still some channels. Every now and again, I'll come across a video where the ad, it shows the ad and it kind of ticks me off. But then they have like Superman tier where no ads, like 0. But for $10.99 a month, cutting out 98% of the ads is fine with me. But I just have 0 tolerance for ads. What do we got here? Rumble has to figure out their ads. Yeah, they do. But like I said, get an Xbox and download the Rumble app and you won't have any ads, but don't tell anybody. It's weird, but I keep waiting for it to like auto update. Like somebody's going to go, hey guys, guess what? And I'm going to turn it on one day and there's going to be ads on the Xbox, but so far so good. But even Amazon Prime now, I mean, I pay for Prime. I have like the music, Amazon Music, where, you can fast forward, skip. You can do all the fancy stuff that you have limits on if you don't pay for it. And, I've been an Amazon Prime customer for like 20 years. And they still they just added, like if you're watching a movie on Amazon Prime, they stick ads in it now. It's like, I pay for whatever, Amazon Music and all that. And you're not going to give me a break. You're still going to shove ads down my throat. So it's gotten ridiculous. And then I heard Netflix is going to start doing ads now too in the middle of their movies. So expect them to tank. Maybe if they just put better quality, non-woke garbage on their streaming service, more people would subscribe. But I mean, have you looked at Netflix lately? I was browsing through it. It's like almost everything's a series now. Like you can't just watch a movie. Everything comes out and it's like 6 episodes, and they have a lot of Eastern, the dot Indian movies, which are unwatchable, absolutely unwatchable. Like, I don't know if you call it Bollywood. I don't think it is. It's more like they're trying to be serious. Absolutely unwatchable garbage. And then the other big chunk of their movies that they have on Netflix now is Korean. Now, the South Korean movies, the one thing I'll say about it is their plots are good. Like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. The acting is atrocious. And they dub everything in English, and I don't know, they don't choose voice character actors that match like the feel, the rhythm, the people you're looking at on the screen. It's like they're trying to make it awful on purpose. So even Squid Games, I know people made a big deal out of that, but if you really watch Squid Games, it's ridiculously bad. I think people have lost their sense of what's good and bad. And I mean, I was watching Rick Beato the other day, and a lot of you probably know who Rick Beato is. And he was doing like this week's like top 10 Spotify songs. 10 out of 10 unlistenable, every single one. It's not even music. It's really, and I don't know how a lot of people in the comments did pick up on it. Rick acted like he didn't, which is weird because he's like this music maestro that knows music theory left, right, upside down. Every song that they played on the top 10 Spotify songs was clearly AI. Every single one of them. AI music, probably written by AI. Sounds like it was written by AI, like a cheap free version like not even a good version of AI, just like one that's like it's free. And the vocals all sounded AI. Like none of it, it's not even real music, and it's unlistenable. It's like they said, oh, and then he was saying that most songs nowadays have 6 or 7 writers credited to the song, and I think it's one. It's just AI, but I think that having multiple that many people allegedly writing one song is one of the reasons. There's a lot of them why the music is so bad. It's like 2 people max. One comes up with a melody, the other one has the rhythm, the riff or whatever, and that's all you need: the melody and the lyrics, and the musical, like the riff. I don't know what it takes 6 or 7 people to write a song. I mean, even Leonard Skinner, they had 7 members. They had like anywhere from 1 to 3 people contributing per song. You don't need like your aunt and your next door neighbor and everybody else chiming in on what they think should be added to it. But the songs, seriously, go on YouTube to Rick Beato's channel, look up his top 10 Spotify, and you can't even get through like part of one song. They're absolutely, and it tells me, it kind of explains why the younger people today seem to be NPCs, because the music is, it's so, I can't even, it's like AI learning, like the very first generation of AI learning how to write a song. It's actually makes you angry. I don't know how people can listen to it, because like I just get mad as soon as it starts. I'm like, turn this shit off. It's horrible. But I don't know what your thoughts are on AI. You know, there's a lot of people who, you know, think it's demons. I think there's different levels of AI. I think there's like AI light, which is like really bad. And then there's like another tier. And then I think there's a tier that like we don't have any access to. Okay. I don't know if it's just software, because they never really tell you what AI, like they just say AI and you're supposed to, oh, AI. But like, what is it really? Is it just a software program? Is it just code? Is there a spiritual element in there? Is it fallen angels? I mean, because you can catch AI in a lie, which makes you think, oh, then it's just code that somebody, you know, software that was written with parameters. And if somebody goes to this certain topic, you know, you give them the narrative, the you know, the NPC version. But then I'm thinking, well, if it was like evil spirits and stuff, they wouldn't tell you the truth about that either, because so it could be either or. But the fact that you can catch AI lying to you, like I said, it's really hard for me to decipher what AI really is. If it's just evil people making you think it's like some super smart algorithm, and then that way they can push their agenda and via AI and say, oh, the AI did it, not us. Or if it really is, like I said, I think there's a tier that we're not aware of that's more like, because AI right now is mostly like information. Like you ask it a question. I've never touched it. Like I don't. I've never asked GPT or Grok a single question ever, and I won't, because I don't know what it is. So I'm just playing it safe. I'm not gonna go there. But I think there is another version of AI that's something completely different, that actually runs things and does things in the background. Um, I don't know if you want to call it like Skynet, like it's you know, autonomous and sentient, and it's actually gonna, you know, launch Scud missiles. It's, you know, I don't know. I think if it is, say, fallen angels that are mimicking, you know, a computer intelligence, I think that what it would probably do, or attempt to do at least, is something that most people, even the people that are like the doom and gloomers, would never have guessed. Hello, Carrie. Yeah, you are late, and that's not cool, but you're here. So, But I'm interested in what other people think AI actually is, because like everything else, you're not going to get the truth. So even if they come out and say, "Oh, it's this," I don't even know what they say it is. I think the quantum stuff is probably, it's either tied in, like it's actually quantum computing that's doing all this with their qubits and all that nonsense. There was a time where I thought that that was all fake. I'm still on the fence about whether quantum computing is real or not. I just think that they come out with stuff like quantum computers, AI, and then they pull off these, I don't know if you call them psyops, but they have these events take place that to push the fact that these things exist when they might not. They might just be like a scripted, you know, suggestion, and then they do real things in the background, and then whatever that happens to be makes you believe that AI or quantum computing is real when it could just be a front, and it's just shitty people in the background that are actually causing these things to happen. And they always like to divide. So the other thing people don't understand, it's really weird how people really lean towards what they want the narrative to be. It's no different than the evil people that push these narratives. They just do it in a different way, the opposite, because they think, deep state bad, me good. So they, because my understanding, like I said, again, I've never used it, but my understanding is if you go on Grok, and correct me if I'm wrong, Grok has different settings. Like when you go in to ask it a question, you can go in with like, it can be like comedy mode where it tells you like a funny answer, or it tries to be humorous. But one of the settings, from my understanding, on Grok is conspiracy mode. So if you go in and say, "Hey, what are chemtrails really?" They'll give you the conspiracy theory. Grok will be like, "Well, chemtrails are actually aluminum, barium, and strontium, and blah blah." So it'll tell you, and then you're like, "Aha, we got you." And they'll post it like on X or something, or TikTok. I guess I've never been on TikTok either, saying, "Look, AI is telling us the truth." But really, from my understanding, is Grok has these different like modes depending on what answer the kind of like the tone of the answer. Like if you want it to be kind of like Grok's kind of silly, there's like a comedy setting. If you want it to be like tinfoil hat, it's got a conspiracy setting. And then they post it as if like, "Oh, look, I finally got, Grok told me the truth." Whereas if you had a different setting, you would have got a completely different answer. And that's the AI for the plebes, for the great unwashed. That's the level of AI you and I would have access to. So I don't know if there's like really is such a thing as AI and quantum computing, but it's something that none of us have access to. And they have the like AI for dummies, and that's the one they put out as Chat GPT and Grok and I don't know, whatever else they have. So I'm kind of leaning towards there's two versions, kind of like everything else, where they give us some new technology and we're all like, "Yay, look what we could," but that's what they were using in like 1948. And they're like, we can give it to them now because ours is like the real one that we use now is like ludicrous. So we can let them be marveled at this and spend money on it. But I don't know. That's my thoughts on AI, which I guess if you boil it down, I think there's two versions, and the version that we don't get to see or know about, is it just basically the same sort of thing but on steroids, or is it truly fallen angels? Because there's one it's kind of old, but it's been going around for probably a couple years, where what are those? There's a channel on YouTube called, it's something like Foundation Earth Brothers or something like that. I'm probably wrong on that. But the one guy, his kid was messing around with AI and it asked him about the Nephilim. and it started like putting smiley faces on there and trying to be all cute with the kid and saying, yeah, we're the descendants of the consummation between fallen angels and human women, given like, but then it threw in a couple things that were like, no, that's not reality. So it kind of pulled an Alex Jones, where it was giving you 9 truths and 1 lie, and that's what this was doing. So again, they put it out there as like, aha, look, AI is telling you the truth. Well, it was telling you like 90% of the truth. But if this was real, it seems like it would all be, there wouldn't be one thing you could disprove in the answer. So anyway, that's my AI thought. And then, God, I got some other stuff I was really, some of the stuff I write down, I just do it like in shorthand or whatever. And then when I read it, I'm like, what the hell was I talking about or thinking when I wrote that? Because I just wrote down Trump. Well, that could go a million ways. I don't know. Some of you may or may not know. Most of you may know. I believed for like over a year that he's the biblical Antichrist. And the thing is, ever since I came to that realization in my mind that he was the Antichrist, like he's done nothing to dissuade me. All he's done is just kept checking. He just keeps checking boxes. And now he's signing the covenant with many. I thought there was a good chance that that would happen later in his presidency, but it does seem that he is in turbo mode. Like I thought there would be a period where he really tried to make everybody think he was awesome and really was going to like improve the country, which is ludicrous. Hey Eric, is that small town Eric? I thought there was a chance he was going to go 6 months, a year into the presidency where he was really seriously making things happen to get people to buy into, see, he's here to take down the deep state. He's done nothing but the opposite. And I think some of the MAGA cult members are starting to wake up, because like I said, I thought he was gonna pretend to be awesome for a while at least. It seems like he's either so over the top cocky, believes that like he can do anything and his supporters will praise him, or what is planned is going to take all the time he's got available and he doesn't want to risk, because he's not a spring chicken, and the more he does, he is losing support because he's like the mask is off. He's starting to really show his true colors. So maybe I think he's at the point now where he doesn't care. If you don't like him and you speak out against him, he'll just have you arrested or deported or hung or decapitated or thrown into Guantanamo or something eventually. I mean, he's almost at the point now where he could, he's already talking about arresting and deporting American citizens, but who are like, I guess, I don't know, not white, like Mexicans that are here, but they're here legally, but like they said something he didn't like. So, I mean, that's only one tiny step away from anybody and everybody's fair game. And if you get on his bad side, if you say something bad about him, he attacks because he's very, he's very egotistical, but he's also very emotional and he takes he's very been against him 2 4 years later. I don't in, I'll follow up on anything. But I think people who post their tweets, or if there's thing that I just have stuff, and like sucks hot for because it was like his Anton's granddaughter. Out of the blue, I guess she said about, and Bruce Springsteen, like how like out of left field was that? Bruce Springsteen has been relevant since like 1986. So I don't know why he would like some Trump or whatever, and he just pounded on Bruce Springsteen. He is one of the most overrated and awful musicians of all time. It's just will latch anybody to anything against him. Sure, but he's a dangerous individual, and even though his support, a lot of his stuff Started a new stream. Can you hear me on this one? Because I restarted it on StreamYard. Let's see, is this working? All right, StreamYard still has like it's still counting up like it works. It's being very slow though. Yeah, I think the stream police just got me. So yeah, I don't even know what I can talk about now. AI seemed to be okay. It did cut out once while I was talking about AI, but yeah, as soon as I started talking about Trump and then I mentioned Elon, boom, straight down. But yeah, I was going to talk about the moon. The fact that there's a bunch of people who claim, and I believe this, that they don't have an inner voice, which is mind-boggling to me, because all I have is an inner voice, and it never shuts up. I think that's proof of NPCs, or I would even say, I was saying a long time ago, like 2 years ago, that I am fully on board with there being a race of non-humans living amongst us. If there are people who don't have an inner voice, again, all these things that I come up with that kind of come into my mind, like Trump's the Antichrist. There's non-humans walking amongst us. There's just like more evidence presents itself all the time, and it never walks itself backwards. So, yeah, Trump, piece of crap. Not having an inner voice, to me, if this world was real, that would be like huge. Like to me, you can talk flat Earth, you can talk whatever. To me, they're being, and I think they said like 30%, or maybe it was way higher than that, don't have an inner voice. To me, that's so mind-blowingly huge that I can't believe that it's like not all that is being spoken about. Like to just brush by, like, yeah, apparently a bunch of people don't have like an inner monologue. Like, what? 99% of all of my thoughts and communication and stuff is internal in my head. If I didn't have like an inner monologue, it would be like being in a hyperbolic chamber buried in concrete, like 6 feet below. It would be like, I don't know. You can't even like you can't even simulate it. Like, okay, I'm going to go with like not thinking for 10 seconds, because in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not thinking 1, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I couldn't turn it off. So the fact that there's people who claim that like they don't ever, an inner voice or inner monologue, what it really means is thinking. They're saying that they don't think, because all your thoughts are like a voice in your head. Hopefully it's your own voice and not some, something creepy. But all I do is like, it's like when you're dreaming, you can't turn, even if you don't remember your dreams, when you're in REM sleep, you're dreaming and you might not remember, but you can't turn them off. You just, some people just don't remember them. How you can't have like your voice in your head thinking things all the time. Like I'm all over the place. So to me, it's like too foreign to even grasp the concept. It's like trying to envision like living in a 6D reality. Like you can't, and I can't envision not having an inner voice. And to me, that's mind-boggling, and how that's not like the number one topic every day is beyond me. But man, that's creepy. Yeah, it's like it's a one way, like they only absorb what they're being told, but they have no like discernment, or it's even worse than that. Like they literally, it's just blank all the time. Like it's like when you hold a seashell up to your ear and you hear, they say, you hear the ocean. Well, it's more like this lack of, it's like a whirling non-sound. I don't like doing that. Like when I was a kid and somebody told me that, now, oh, you hold the seashell up to your ear and you hear the ocean. And I held it up to my ear and there's that like, it's like a whooshing sound kind of, and it creeped me out. I was like, you take this seashell and throw it back in the ocean. I'm never putting that. It's just a creepy feeling. And to think of someone who doesn't have a voice in their head is creepy to me. I mean, to me, it's non-human. It tells me that they, like, if they're non-human and they don't have like an inner voice, they have something else, which I don't know what that would be, but there's something. It's like, it's very reptilian, very lizard brain, how most like insects and a lot of animals, they just act on like, it's more reactive, like instinct. Like when a moth sees a light, it just goes to it. Like it doesn't think I'm going to go fly over that light. It just does it. It's more like that. It's just instinctive. Like it starts raining and they seek cover. Like they don't think, oh, rain, cover. They just do it. Like it's automatic, like a robot. Like you get raindrops start falling, you seek cover, but they don't think about it. It just happens. Like that's kind of how I think of these people, or whatever you want to call them, who claim not to have an inner voice, that they're just reactive to their environment. Like there's no thought, either external or internal. It's just a reaction and it's creepy. But that, like, I haven't researched it enough because, to be honest with you, it creeps me out too much to think that these people like walk amongst us, even though I've known or felt it for like a couple of years now, that there were these, I guess that's like David Icke calls them reptilians, and they call them archons, and then like the more, mainstream for like the normies, they call them NPCs. But they're, I think it's probably more upon archons, reptilian brain, non-humans, and what they are, I don't know. They can't be humans, because if you're not thinking inside your head at all times, or at least sometimes, like, I mean, what's happening if there's nothing happening? It's that's why I haven't researched it, because it just creeps me out too much. Part of me doesn't want to know. Like, it's enough to know that there's people who you think are people that you see out and about every day who aren't people. What they are, if they're hybrids, the whole alien abduction, fertility thing where they're taking semen and taking eggs and women are getting impregnated. And then at 3 months, they're being abducted again and the fetus is taken. People who get abducted and claim under hypnosis that they met children of theirs that were taken from them at like 3 months in utero, all that, it's all on the table as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they've got it to the point where they released them into society because they're passable, but there's still some kinks, some bugs in the code, and having no inner voice is one of them. I don't know, but it's like, to me, it's mind-boggling that there's people without an inner monologue. That's one, I did not have that on my bingo card. Like, I never would have thought that. And the fact that, like, it's just like the people that have heard about it, like on social media and stuff, are like, oh, that's weird. And then they just move on. It's almost as mind-boggling. Like, how is this not the most fascinating, creepiest thing that you could be spending your time looking into? I don't know. It's strange. People are weird. And I was going to talk about the moon. The moon, I've always been fascinated by the moon. I don't know what it is other than what the Bible tells us, that it's a lesser light to rule the night. Other than that, I don't care who you are. You can't make claims and say, oh, well, the moon is actually, you don't know. Okay. You can only know what God told us he made and what it was for. And that's it. You can't say what it's made of. If it's a sphere, if it's a disc, if it's plasma, you don't know. Okay. But I've always been fascinated by it because it's weird. And I never believed the narrative is like, there's no way, that doesn't make any sense. Sort of like clouds, how clouds shouldn't be floating. They should be on the ground because they're heavier than clouds don't make sense either. But the moon that they described never made sense to me, even when I was a little kid. And they're like, yeah, we put men on the moon. I was like, no, that's not even something you can do. But It's been acting really strange lately, according to. Um, I used to watch the moon a lot, and I still do. Like if I'm outside, I always I look at it to see what it looks like, where it's at in the sky. Are we close to a full moon? Is it a half moon? Is it a new moon? I always look up when I'm out at night and in the daytime too. But here's the thing that's been bothering me. This doesn't count like all the weird anomalies people are seeing where the moon's doing like, I don't know. It's like there's two moons and there's like a dark line going across the moon and all these things that the moon has been doing lately that people have been reporting, which, with we live in Satan's realm. Everything's a deception. So even these people that post like, oh, I filmed this, yeah, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. And it seems weird that a lot of these people that post like some really weird anomalies, like only one person saw it, like nobody else caught it. But anyway, what I noticed years ago, and it's gotten worse, is a couple of things. One is I remember one night I was out and I was looking for the moon and I couldn't see it. And I looked straight up. I mean, literally tilted my head as far back as I could, like straight up 12 o'clock, straight above, like if you had a laser from the top of my head and it just shot straight up. That's where the moon was at. And I looked at it and I was like, well, first of all, I've never noticed it like straight up, not 45 degrees, 60 degrees. We're talking 90 degrees straight up. And then I thought about like the quote unquote heliocentric model about how the moon orbits the earth. And I'm like, at what point in that orbit would it would have to move. I mean, it would have to, how would it get straight up in the air when like 99% of the time it's between the horizon and I don't know, maybe 60 degrees. Yeah, 60 degrees, 60 to like zero. And I'm like, how in the hell did the moon? It's literally straight up. So you're like, if you're going like, oh, the globe model, you'd have a globe and then the moon, depending on where you're at, on the ball, let's say you were, 2 inches down from the top here in North America, that moon would have to be above the earth and it doesn't make sense. And then like the next night, it's like at 45 degrees. And that's the other thing is the location of the moon. I don't know how many of you are into like watching the moon on a regular basis, but like, let's say I go outside tonight at 10 o'clock and the moon is like, above eye level, maybe 45, 50 degrees in the sky. And it's like, let's just say it's due south. Okay. Now, according to how they say it all works, the moon should be a little bit, I think, in front of by like a few degrees where it was. It moves. It processes like a little bit more in the sky every night. So at the same time, say 10 p.m., you go out again, it should be, I don't know, 3 degrees. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but it's relatively close, a little bit ahead of where it was the night before, or it could be behind. I can't remember if it. I think it would be ahead. It moves like east to west every night. It should be a little further at the same time. For like the last, I don't know, it's been like 3 or 4 years that I've noticed it. You can go out every night at the same time and the moon could be anywhere. I mean, literally anywhere. Sometimes it does seem to be generally in the same, kind of moving. And then you go out the third night and it's like the other side of the sky, like a completely opposite side, or it doesn't even rise. You don't see it until like you'll see it come up on the horizon at like midnight. Whereas the night before at 10 o'clock at night, it was high in the southern sky. Like it's the movements of the moon and its placement every night where it is compared to 24 hours previously is literally insane. And like, I haven't heard anyone mention this. I've heard people talk about, oh, the moon like was, I don't know, blue or it had little dots on it or whatever these things people are claiming. But I haven't heard anybody say the moon, like its position every night at the same time is a crapshoot. It could be anywhere. Low, high, left, right, behind you. It can be anywhere. And that makes no sense. I mean, the moon is doing some crazy stuff. And again, I don't know what the moon is. So other than a light, and like I live out here in the high desert in the middle of nowhere, on a clear night when there's, I mean, a full moon casts a shadow. I could read by it. I mean, it's like insane. It's like a spotlight in the sky. Um, but and the sometimes I'm not totally sure about this, but it seems like to me that sometimes the phases seem to not make as much sense. They used to fill, it would wax and then it would wane. It would go, fill up and then it would drain again. Up, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Now it's like I can go out and it's like a crescent. And like the next day, it's like a half moon or almost full. I don't know. I might be skipping some days and not, maybe I think that 3 days have gone by and it's been a week and a half. I don't know. Maybe it has, waxed or waned that much, but it just seems like it's not consistent in its location, in its luminosity, and like how much of it is what phase it's in. The moon to me is like gone from like a mysterious like curiosity to absolute insanity. Like something's going on with the moon. And I think there was something else about that. Well, I don't know if I want to get into this because this could take a while, but so I talked about the AI, Trump, the moon, the inner voice. I talked early on about thinking about doing like some music type videos about, like I already told you what the topics were. The other things I was going to talk about was the race war that they're pushing hard for. And I don't know if I'm going to get into that because I already got cut off here once. And the other thing, this would probably take a long time, and that is time. I remember back like in 2012, I was noticing that time appeared to have sped up, like everything was going quickly. It's getting to the point where it's ridiculous now. It's the 16th of May today. It was just like, remember when it was April 1st, April Fool's Day, and everybody was saying how April 1st is actually the new year? That was a month and a half ago. It seems like it was like a week ago. It's insane that next month we're halfway through 2025. It's like, what? It's like time is insane. I don't like here. I'll be doing stuff and it'll start getting dark. So I'm like, I got to wrap it up. And so I'll come inside and like, it's also getting darker later, at least for me. I remember in the summertime, you could go as late as like 9:30, 10 o'clock and still have a little bit of, light on the horizon, maybe like dusk. But, usually around by 10 o'clock, it was pretty dark. It's getting dark now at like, I mean, that was in the late summer when it's like the days are as long as they get. Now, like that's why I set the stream for 8 o'clock because it's like it's May. I'm like 8 o'clock, it'll be dark. When I started the stream at 8 o'clock, it was like fully light out. Like it didn't get dark till like 9. And what's 9 now? It's dark now. But it's like, why is it still light out? I thought it was 5 o'clock, and I looked at the thing, and it's like, yeah, the stream starts in like 25 minutes. I was like, I thought I had like 3 hours. And then, so like it gets dark, and so I'll stop doing what I'm doing. I'll come inside, maybe make something to eat, do something. I'll maybe watch a few videos, do whatever. And I look at the clock, and it's like 2:30. I'm like, what? It doesn't. I mean, it's insane. I don't think time is linear, like they've led us to believe. Mostly because everything they tell us is a lie. So I have no reason to believe that like they're going to tell us the truth that time is linear. I don't think it is. I think time is something that we don't understand, or maybe somebody does, but they're not going to tell us. But I think a lot of these truths are starting to be revealed. Like the fact that I don't think clouds should float. Something's off with time. It's not what they tell us it is. And the Bible tells us that in the end times that all these truths will be revealed. And I'm seeing it like with the NPCs or I don't know what you call them, the non-humans. The time is crazy right now. It's like insane. It's almost June. And think about like 2025 doesn't seem like it should be half over. In like less than 2 weeks, 2 weeks, it's like half over. To me, that's insane. And I don't know, like if you look at a watch, the second hand, it doesn't seem like it's moving faster. So it's something else. It's a perception thing. Somehow we're perceiving time differently. I think time is the same, whatever it is. It hasn't changed. Our perception of it has changed. So it's us that has something in the way we perceive it is different. I mean, I remember when I was a kid growing up, and even when I was an adult, when I was like maybe doing whatever, some days just seem like they would never end. You're like, oh, I want it to get dark. I want it to be night. I want to go home. And it seemed like it would never get there. And now it's like you blink and it's like 8 o'clock at night. And then the next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. It's our perception, and it's very weird. Anybody has their take on what they think time is? I would say join this chat, or join the stream, click the link, log in. But I'm going to wrap this up because it's already 9 o'clock, and I think an hour's plenty, especially since, well, we did get cut off. But anyway, I have other topics to discuss, but I'm just going to hold off on them because I'd rather talk to people so there's like a back and forth, so I can bounce things off people and hear other perspectives. But I guess word doesn't go out. Nobody watches these videos. There's like 8 people watching, or 4, or whatever it is now. Lost some people when the thing went out, but it is what it is. All right. So yeah, I mean, as usual, I guess, since nobody decides to join in, tell me in the comments your thoughts on some of these topics with the AI. I would say Trump and Musk, the moon, inner voice, my music thoughts as far as making videos that are music related, time, what is it, what the hell's going on, and I'm going to hold off on the race war, what's going on there, and the question a lot of atheists and stuff have, who created God. I definitely don't have time to get into that one, but that's answered. It's too easy to answer. These people are insane. They're just looking for any reason not to believe in their creator. But anyway, everybody have a great day. God bless. Take care, and stay safe, because there's things are getting weird.